Hold on, everyone. I have some things I must see to. But hello there, one and all, and hello, bearded axe. Axe, I hope the sound of the background isn't too distracting. I have my air conditioning unit it on over right here because it be a hot day, and that's why I'm dressed a little bit differently from how I was last time. I hope everyone's okay with that. Glad to hear, Raven, and glad you could make it. But I feel I should address some issues that were that occurred last live stream. I was given this substance to saying it could help myself focus and be more coherent, because I'll be honest, I had a lot of nerves to deal with as Fred was encouraging me to go live here on Twitch, and I came out as a bit of a bumbling mess. I apologize for that. That was mostly brought on by the drugs I was prescribed to help me focus on this stream, and it quite frankly did the opposite. But I do want to give a shout out to the lovely Raven, because quite frankly, she saved my arse last live stream. For just throwing a question out there, and and that's what pretty much got the live stream earlier this week back on track. And we're going to keep up with the theme of being a dragon rider, and we have a friend here this stream. We've got my dragon and Noctis Ravenshroud. He is a black dragon. I'm sorry he cannot communicate with you or go to his full form, because if he were to do that, one, it would be kind of it would get kind of messy here in the apartment, and two, all the cameras and recording equipment would devolve into a glitchy mess. I hope you folks can understand that. But with that, I do have some a few things to share when it comes to being a dragon rider. First off is an expansion on the question Raven asked last stream, which was what does it take to become a dragon rider? So hold on a sec. I'm just I'll be honest, I am not that great with technology. Yeah, that's more Derek and Fred's fortes. He's because I mean, Fred is the one who does a lot of the tech editing and recording on this channel. Well, I am just the one who is by and large the dragon rider of the group. And Derek, he's just the gun nut. But when it comes to the process of being a dragon rider, the process varies from person to person. There is a distinct chatting at the bar feel. Because everyone who has become a rider has had a different experience in the process. Some become dragon riders because they are born into a family associated with the Draconic Enclave, the foremost clan associated with dragons. However, those who are not affiliated with the rider tend to have performed some great service for the Enclave, like I did. Though the process of becoming a rider in Enclave circles is initially starts pretty much in infancy, where the parents will take their young one to the hatchery, and they are presented before rows upon rows of dragon eggs, and if a young small dragon has chosen the infant to be their rider, the egg will glow in close proximity to the child. However, for those who cannot make the journey to take their child to the hatchery, or the child wasn't chosen as an infant, and they'll have plenty of chances later in life to take the mantle of a rider. As everyone gets a chance at seasonal festivals, the Enclave holds to basically they're akin to the solar festivals here on Earth. But basically they are. Each festival has a clutch of dragon eggs, and the people of the village or the towns are paraded in front of the dragon eggs, and that's the second method one is chosen. And However, there is one more method to becoming a rider, or earning the right to present oneself before the hatchery as a sign of gratitude for services rendered to the Enclave. Normally, it is done as thanks for performing some great service, like retrieving an artifact important to the Enclave, or taking out an enemy that the Enclave tried and failed. This is the method of becoming a member of the Enclave by initiation. And it is this method that I, Radnor Sarkany, was initiated into becoming a rider. However, having a dragon hatching for you is only the first step. You need to build the bond with your dragon, and raise it and learn from it, hopefully as much as it learns from you as well. This period is usually the hardest of being a new rider, because it takes a lot to keep a close eye on a tiny dragon, because it is very much like a rambunctious kitten or puppy, only this kitten can fly and breathe sparks of flame. Yeah, that's dangerous. This stage of a rider feels more like a parent than an actual rider, but many older riders frame this stage as a test of compassion. It is usually around this stage that young riders ponder the possibility of ditching the path of the rider altogether. But all of them eventually return, because A, the bond they form inevitably reunites them. If not, the draconic equivalent of puppy dog eyes usually does that. Inevitably. Trust hand, a hatchling doing puppy dog eyes is up there among the more adorable things one can see in their lives. As this stage of the dragon and rider getting the hang of each other evens out, that is when they begin their training as a team. And that's where the real work begins. At that point, are there any questions regarding the path of becoming a rider initially? Because that is just the stage of actually getting the hang of your dragon, like I have with Noctis here. And let me tell you, it varies from dragon to dragon. There were times he got a little crazy. Think of it like a ginger kitten. It only had it had all the energy of a ginger tabby kitten, but none of the brain power. Yeah, I said that about you, and you know you were like that. He knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, he I will say, it was actually, I'll be honest, I think this is coming from the fact that I was born outside the Enclave and was initiated in, and I think that's why I didn't have so much of an issue with eccentricities and chaos. In fact, there are times I wish I had a camera on hand just to document some of it, because it was very funny to watch. Though there were some destructive moments. A lot of folks in the Enclave, they were very chill about it, because they could easily repair the damage and put out the fire with magic. And they also understood that this was part of our rider's early on life. As for I believe I already told you the story of the artifact that I retrieved before, that basically led me to the Enclave. Hold on. After things between Noctis and I evened out, that is when our training began. And the training to become a rider is a 2-stage process that occurs over the course of half a year, and it is usually, and it pretty much caps off with a week-long test that can be relatively compared to Hell Week that some military special forces go through. But the first stage is that of the assessment. This is a period that takes approximately a week to complete, and it is and it covers 3 major categories: these physical and martial skill, magical ability, and mental fortitude. In terms of the physical fitness, or the physical assessment, and this is what where we are assessed on weapons handling, physical fitness, and on both Noctis's and my part. We are basically put through our paces to see how physically fit we are and how much they need to improve on our physical fitness before we take the final trial. The second assessment is that of magical capability. This basically involves we have to have some kind not a full-on scholarly understanding of magic, but an understanding of theory of how magic works. And seeing as I went to a pretty prestigious mages school beforehand, I did pretty good on the theory side, because that's all the school I went to actually pursued. It was just on the practical side of magic that I did kind of meh at. And basically those were the 2 things they tested us on magic: theory and practical uses. Theory was great, but was a little dodgy on the practical side, as I said. But last but not least, the third assessment is mental fortitude. Having a strong mental resistance is very important to being a dragon rider, because the bond that Noctis and I share, and all dragons and their riders share is very much a magical telepathic link. And it is one that can be exploited. It is not without its without its weaknesses. And there are some nefarious folks that can tap into the bond between a dragon and rider to influence their decisions. And basically, mentally suggest things that they want a rider or dragon or both to do. It's not unheard of to happen, but it knows to happen, and that's on the lighter end of what someone can do to a rider and dragon. There are nefarious individuals that could hijack the bond and completely cut the rider out of it and take over the ridership of a dragon themselves. And there are dragons that could do that to a rider. And that creates something not fun or not pretty. It is just it can get things real ugly. But what these assessments do is basically evaluate new novices to the dragon riders as to see what they're good at, what they're not good at, and what they need to improve upon. That tends to help inform the riders as to who your teacher should be and who would be the best to teach a new rider or the skills they need to. And that is how novice training begins. And not when you're training as a novice, you're usually put in a group of folks of riders and their dragons of at most 5 that basically train under an older rider, or these are basically folks who have ended up in relatively the same area of where they need to improve, and they're sent to the rider who is most suited to teach them those skills. And as I said, that training usually lasts for about half a year. Usually it basically how the curriculum usually works is the novices are each given some techniques, texts, or spells and more to practice, study, and so forth. And basically the teacher of the group will do one-on-one with each of the riders over the course of the week. One day will be dedicated to each rider for one-on-one training, and then the next 2 days will be essentially a air quotes training expedition, and where basically the group of at most 6, the 5 students and the rider or teacher they will all go on, you could say it's something of a field trip, but field trips don't normally involve fighting goblins, bandits, or delving into ancient ruins with a lot of things that could potentially kill you. No, hold on. but yes, when it's not our day for one-on-one training, we're usually encouraged to explore with our dragon, study texts, and just hone our skills on our own. And there are times when our teacher will just talk to us about what we experienced and so forth. Because some of what we experience on our own can be advised into exploring further, or on a rare occasion they're like, that's a bad idea to study this further. But once novice train, the period of novice training over the course of over the course of half a year is completed, the novices are basically given they go through this training course that usually that they have a week to complete. But the training course has 3 stages to it. The first is we have to make our way through this wooded area to find basically the entrance to this. By and large, it's a dungeon. And the forest is home to a lot of dangerous creatures that can attack a rider, and you basically have to work as a team to fight them off. And you cannot do this while airborne. The 2 of you have to be on the ground while your dragon fights from the skies. It's to test your skill with martial capability in close combat. But once you finish that end of the training, and you make your way into the dungeon, and that's where the second phase of the final test begins. And you and your dragon must navigate a dungeon that you both can fit into. However, when it comes to the magic within the dungeon, it can basically interfere with how you and your dragon communicate. It can kind of block the presence between you and your dragon, or the communication altogether. This is more a means of focusing the mind, and the more you focus your mind, the better you'll be able to communicate. But I will say, on a side note regarding that, being in that dungeon and with unable to communicate with Noctis here until until we figured out how to focus properly, it was the scariest thing imaginable. At the end of this basically dungeon crawl, we have to basically retrieve an artifact. It varies from rider to rider what that artifact may be, but once we acquire it, we basically flee. We have to flee through a tunnel that leads out of the ruins. It's a lot in a similar manner to Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark iconic sequence with the boulder. Though there's a lot more than just a boulder that we are running from. Once we but on the outside of it, there is no there. It's basically a sheer drop, a lot like after the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the sequence with that with on the mine carts, or it's that ended in basically what's the word? Basically, that hole in the side of a cliff and the sheer drop. That's basically what you have with the forces that are pushing you out of the cave coming behind you, and as you exit, there are like these flying hostile forces coming towards you from the front. You basically don't have enough time to get mounted up and so forth. You gotta jump and mount aerially, or mount while in the air. That's a challenge in of itself. But once you mount and able to fly into the canyon, then you got to find basically the base camp of these aerial opponents, and basically you gotta make your way through this canyon and flying course with all sorts of natural hazards and hostile enemies bearing down on you, and sometimes you gotta fight your way through sections of it in order to just blast their HQ with a jet of fire to destroy it, and make your way out of the canyon after that. It is an adrenaline-rushing, high-octane fight that I will probably pen my memoirs of the story and post it somewhere for you all to read, should you get the chance, of my whole final trial sequence. But once you make your fly out of the canyon after blowing up the enemy's base, you have to get your bearings while in the air, and it was pretty easy to know where I had to go from there, and basically once you land, it's quite the party once you are bestowed this badge. And this is the badge that, as I said, signifies me as a rider. And that has been pretty much that is pretty much the sequence of both getting selected to train as a rider and the full training gambit. But I do have plenty of stories from my own training as a rider. Hold on, gotta refuel. But yes, so that is pretty much the process of riding, of being selected and being trained as a rider. My own teacher was basically a half-elven rider named Vargandus. Very strong. He was very much a warrior rider. He didn't use too much magic. A lot of us in my group, we basically had well, he could use magic. He just normally didn't like using magic. He had this kind of thing where basically he had a rather traumatic experience involving a a usage of magic of his that made it so it became very hard for him to use magic. But he was still a great teacher of how to use it. He used to be one of the riders' best spell weavers. There's highly proficient in both high and low magic, which I will explain in a moment. And high magic first I should explain magic as far as the riders understand it in general. All magic forms of magic can be traced back to one form of magic, and that is, while we don't know a lot about it today, it is referred to as primal magic. It's just currently what arcane experts call it at the moment, until we find more information about it. But what we do know about primal magic is that it was very wild, untamed, and being able to control primal magic took a lot of focus, because at the time there weren't much ways to harness magic that led to once humanity started to find ways to harness magical energy more easily. That is when magic kind of branched out from the primal magic common ancestor and split into two primary categories of magic, each of which with three basically flavors of magic, shall we say. The magic basically split into basically high and low magic, like I said. The differences are high magic is basically a lot more of an intellectual pursuit. It's about harnessing energies with your words, gestures, or items that can be used to direct magic, like say a wand. However, you don't have to specifically use a wand to control magic. It can be any item that you have a strong connection with. For most riders, they tend to use their swords as arcane focuses. And this here is the blade that I've used more than once to harness magic. Bloody cowl. Well, but high magic can be categorized into three specific types. There's divine magic, which tends to focus a lot on magic involving some kind of higher being. It's commonly used by clerics and paladins. And then there's natural magic. This is more like harnessing the power of the world around you, in order to create some outcome. This is commonly used amongst druidic and ranger inspired riders. And then there's elemental magic. This one is my personal favorite. This is where you harness the energy of the elements itself to basically throw fireballs, conjure giant ice spikes, and a whole lot more. It can be relatively compared to something in the vein of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but it's not straight up bending the elements directly. It's basically using both vocal and somatic gestures and so forth as a means of pushing the elemental energies in the directions you intend them to go. But I personally, when it comes to high magic, I use a mix of divine and elemental magics. I don't so much go for the natural magic. My preferred, cause divine and elemental magics have pretty much the techniques that work best for myself. The techniques that I use a lot on the divine side usually involve a lot of warding magic, because despite having armor, there is the risk that I could still get injured. So I use a lot of warding magic that produces a kind of magical shield that covers my skin, and that basically increases my defenses. Then there's the process of then there's also healing magic, which is very much common amongst the divine practitioners. And this, as I said, it heals, but it also is very much but it also repels the undead, and repelling the undead, it repels it at minimum, but someone who is very potent with divine magic can straight up disintegrate an undead being just by striking them with their weapon. So that is more just real high level methods when it comes to using divine magic. But then there is low magic. Low magic is pretty much the magic that is a lot more accessible to the common folk. Across the world. Well, it's not just amongst the enclave. But low magic and high magic, they are not, one is not superior to the other. They both have their strengths and drawbacks. It's one of the biggest drawbacks with basically the strengths of high magic are that you can cast it at will, for the most part, and you need to, and it can have some very devastating effects. However, the drawbacks are you have to be focused on your intent in order to cast the spell properly. without proper intent, the spell will just not work, or at best, or at worst, blow up right in your face. I've seen that happen more than once. But with low magic, low magic can be divided into 3 categories, like with high magic. But these are essentially the enchanting, alchemy, and scribe work. Enchanting is pretty much the practice of binding magical energies to an item to give it a certain purpose. Like, for example, this compass here. This is what is known as an elemental compass. So how it works is it will you have to channel energy into one of those 4 cardinal direction points, which correspond to a certain element, and it will the compass this point will, pointing to that element, will point to the highest concentration of that elemental energy. And it will and basically and it will only point to that energy until you reach that the direction it's pointing at. Enchantments can be as simple or as complicated as you want to make them. Though there are some enchantments that are specifically made for specific items. We'll get into those later. But the process of enchanting an item, like with high magic, commonly requires a lot of focus on the intended thing you wish for the magic to do. And like I said, it can range from the simple to the complicated. Like, for example, all rider swords. These have a lot of enchantments placed on them, commonly in a matter that that they just will not break, no matter how much abuse you put them under, and if they get damaged in the process, in the unlikely attempt of them getting damaged in the process of damage during a fight, it will the enchantments on the scabbards themselves are meant to when they're placed in the sheath, the sheath itself will repair any damage done to the blade, and any sharpness that has been lost in the process of use will be restored. But the biggest enchantment that is placed on these blades, that is pretty much, I've only seen it on a rider's blade, is it to basically switch its elemental damage type. Basically, it can, how it works is it first has to hit the enemy in question. Hold on, have a message here. Okay, nothing that needs my attention. But basically, it needs to hit the target first, and upon hitting the target, the blade itself will assess the creature it has hit, and will adjust the enchantment appropriately in order to yield the most damage to said target. That is its offensive capability, but there is a restorative capability in the pommel here. The pommel can be you can channel energy into it to be used as a repository for energy. So when if you're running low on energy, you can draw on the energy in the pommel in order to restore your own energies. But it can also be used to heal a target by means of just placing the pommel on the person that needs healing and focusing the energy into the person who is to receive it. So yes, the sheath and blade of the rider do have their own very unique enchantments. So those enchantments are done by very specialized craft folk. That closely guard their secrets very passionately. However, there are forms of enchantment that basically any rider or person or person with enough knowledge of magic can accomplish. This can range from essentially enchanting a piece of gear for the purpose of take for example this cowl that I wear. It is actually enchanted so that if the hood is up, it has a similar effect to the elvish cloaks that the elves of Lothlorien gave to the Fellowship. But that those who would be unfriendly to the wearer, they can, while the hood is raised, they won't be noticed. And I'm not wearing them at the moment, but if I have my bracers on, those are actually enchanted to be able to let me, one of the enchantments on them at least, increases my ability to pick up heavy loads, like a heavy crate or something of that nature that would take at minimum 2 to 3 people to carry. I can literally just lift it up with a little bit of with less effort than those 3 men would take in order to bring it to where it needs to be. And those are just some examples of some of the enchantments. They're ranging from the offensive to the defensive and the utility. Usually, depending on the piece of gear, you can have an offensive, a defensive, and a utility enchantment. So you can have a total of 3 enchantments on an item at any given time. If you know what you're doing, you can swap out enchantments and to give your gear a proper loadout that you can swap around for the mission you need to accomplish. But then the second form of low magic is well, alchemy. I've spoken about these on the last stream, but potions are alchemy is basically using natural materials that are basically combined together in a certain way that can create useful things like this here, like these alchemical vials. Those are used as, think of them akin to grenades. But these alchemical grenades are not the only things that are useful in battle as in regards to potions. And you see, healing magic is not something that is widely used on the field of battle. Because it requires a lot more focus than other forms of magic. This is usually akin to surgery, because it requires that level of precision, if not more than that level of precision, in order to do it right. That is why healing potions are highly valued on the battlefield. Well, because you can drink them and it will give you and it will restore your it will heal your wounds in a way that can allow you to keep fighting. But it is not a substitute to real healing magic. To full-on healing magic or actual rest. Rest is a true is pretty much the most essential means of recovering from injury or fatigue in battle. But if you don't have the luxury of rest, healing magic will suffice. And if you're in a dire emergency, healing potions will keep you in the fight longer. However, there are potions that can essentially upgrade one's abilities in both battle and outside of battle. These are basically utility potions. These things can increase your resistance to a particular damage for a short period of time. They can increase your awareness. And the list goes on for what these things can do. But then there are that is the gist of what alchemy can do for a rider. Then there's the third form of low magic. This one is a bit interesting because it draws influence from high magic. This is scribe work. Scribe work is basically the process of crafting spell scrolls. These allow folks who cannot exactly perform high magic themselves, have access to the usage of said magic. It basically inscribes this sigil onto a scroll that is by and large gives you a one-time use of that spell per scroll. Also, for example, you can get scrolls of warding in that you can use the scroll. It will disintegrate after use, but you will have the effects of that scroll. So that is by and large how scrolls work, and that is how both high and low magic work and what they do. And then while that is in theory what the individual things do, there is a method to combining both high and low magic in a certain way. While not every rider has the ability to learn smithing skills, they can normally they'd bring their gear to a smith, commonly a dwarven smith, and they can find for the proper amount of coin. They can provide can modify an item to have an additional skill slot or additional enchantment and being able to be placed on the equipment. And like the more slots you already have on your gear, the more it'll cost to have those enchantments, have the room for those enchantments modified into the gear. If you have no enchantment slots on said gear, that will make the price a bit cheaper, but it will steadily go up the more slots you upgrade your item into. But a top tier rider will usually in normal circumstances, a top tier rider will have 3 slots on all their gear. And it usually means they've gone through a lot of quests, jobs, and so forth in order to accumulate the money to essentially to essentially pay for those gear slots. And it will show because they will have access to some immensely powerful effects that they can bestow on their gear, and depending on what mission they're going to be going on, they can quickly swap out the enchantments placed on the gear. However, when it comes to actually placing an enchantment on gear, there's a lot more knowledge that goes into that. While I am no enchanter, or I'm more of an amateur enchanter compared to others among the riders. But one of the big things you need to do in order to get the enchantments, it's akin to first you need to have a knowledge of elemental associations. And those each association with the elements has certain creatures and so forth. In fact, give me a sec. I have a set of enchantment stones that I have procured, and I will go into further detail once I get them. Give me a second. But here we are. There's a total of these are all the enchantment stones that they're also referred to as glyph stones that I have procured, and they each have their own elemental correspondences. This best as I can understand is basically associated with air or wind, and is commonly I haven't. I'm still researching a lot of the correspondences and what each glyph stone is used for, but each stone is basically you have to, in order to make glyph stones, you have to first it's basically a matter of acquiring you have to basically slay elementally associated creatures that by and large are associated with said element, and they're basically, and then once you have those collected, you basically use this through a magical process. You condense those materials down into the similar pressures that you can that is what creates a new star, or I don't know if you, or a more down to earth example is the similar pressures that would involve coal being turned into diamonds. And I remember this one story that Fred's father related, where he told of this kid had some coal, and he said, and he told the kid that if you squeeze the coal hard enough up under intense pressure for enough time, you'll turn into diamonds. And the kid was like, I should get Chuck Norris to squeeze this. And my father laughed, but he was thinking of the classic image of Superman and crushing coal, and when he opens his hand, it's diamonds. But basically, you're taking these parts of slain in elementally associated creatures, and you're basically putting them under similar pressures, and that's how you form the stone itself. Then you got to inscribe the glyphs onto them. As you can see, there's each stone has a particular glyph on their person, that on their surface, that helps amplify the energies. But making the stone is only the second step of the process. You then have to essentially charge the stone. Like the physical parts of elementally associated creatures, are used in making the physical glyph stone. Then you charge it by collecting their their elemental and spiritual energies into the stone. And it's these stones serve as repositories for that energy that you then use to bind the enchantments to your equipment and to craft magical items. And that is by and large the process of making these magical stones for enchanting items. Hold on. But yes, I'm in the process of studying more of these particular stones. This small collection that I have access to. I do have. I'll tell you, this collection was not easy to assemble. All because a lot of enchanters like to keep the processes of crafting these items secret for the most part, but some of the process of making these stones was conveyed to me either through coin or an act of trust, usually involving in basically me handling a job for them, but a lot of the rest I had to basically dig up and study for myself. And I will say a lot of it has been a lot of trial and error that has and there have been times where I've gone through pieces of gear, through numerous iterations of pieces of gear, just to get the enchantment right. And that has been a challenge in its own right. Alchemy, on the other hand, that is something of an easier process. And I use the term easier loosely because for one, the elements used to make potions, alchemical vials, and other things, they are relatively much easier to come across, but it's no less as challenging in its own right. One of the biggest challenges of alchemy in terms of Dragon Rider is, as with learning the correspondences with the glyph stones, basically learning what the ingredients can be associated with. But once you have a good grasp of what ingredients can be associated with what, that you can pretty much create some really gnarly stuff with alchemy. As example, as Exhibit A being these alchemical vial grenades. One example. Another example is the process of as I said, healing potions and elixirs can improve your abilities. As for scribe work, that thing is just complicated in its own right. Like across the board, it's complicated. There's nothing easy or some trick to making it easier. Or it's just sheer observation and drawing the appropriate sigils. How it works is by and large a matter of understanding in the process of making observing a spellcaster performing high magic, and usually there's a process of observing a spell being cast. You can usually make out some kind of sigil associated with the spell, and that sigil can be transcribed onto some parchment, and which can in turn be imbued with high magic with magical energies associated with that sigil. And you can then use that scroll as a means to cast the spell. Well, it's usually a process of trial and error, but it is by no means an exact science. It's more of an art form than an actual science. With enchanting and alchemy, there is a bit of a formulaic process to doing them, but they all have some kind of art element that bleeds into them as well. And as with in those circumstances, it is with that, there is very much an emphasis on the art style of the sigils being used for that can add a personal element to scribe work that leads to the spells being very much personalized in a way that or so I understand. I have not tried anything with scribe work, though I wouldn't say no to trying it, as it would be a method of having a having some backup spells, so that if I run out of an ability to use spells while in the field, I can use my my spell scrolls as a backup in case of emergencies. That is kind of what, at least for high magic practitioners, what scribe work is used for, as a kind of backup method of casting spells in the event that that they run out of the ability to their own spell reserves. So all in all, when it comes to high and low magic, it's basically high magic is immensely powerful, can be cast for the most part on a whim. However, it is reliant on your own personal energies and requires a lot of focus in order to have any sort of effect. Low magic, on the other hand, and while just as powerful, is pretty much bound. The magic is pretty much bound to physical items like equipment, to potions, or scrolls. So in order to be a effective magic user, it's very much a good idea to use both high and low magic in tandem with one another. The names of high and low magic refer to how accessible they are. High magic is usually takes a lot of study and training in order to use, and is usually reserved for very scholarly pursuits, or just people who can find someone who can teach them in general. Low magic is, while it does take a lot of training in order to do it at any at minimum a respectable level, there is a lot more documentation of it. So it's relatively easy to obtain and learn how to do. However, not all riders tend to bother with magic. Yes, they are magically linked to a dragon. I was getting to that, bearded axe. Just give me a moment. And not all riders bother with magic. While some do go the hard magic route, while others go the arcane warrior route. The process of some riders don't even bother with learning how to do magic themselves. Instead, they focus on honing their physical prowess, and honing their physical prowess, be it their speed, their endurance, and so forth. They can match up against a magician or a like myself, magical swordsman. Like I've seen this one rider. This is one of the riders that I trained with during my days as a novice. Named Bjorn. He was like young Hagrid sizes. He was very much part Jotnar. For those who may not know, he was part giant. And he was a big guy. And he used his size to his advantage. He focused on being able to resist magic. So you could pretty much fling a magical fireball at him as he's charging at you, and be able to full on tank it with not a lot of effect done to himself, and though his weapon of choice wasn't a blade, it was a hammer. And we're not talking like the one-handed hammer. We're talking like a two-handed hammer that he would just swing at you with the force of a Skyrim Giant's Club, and it would send you flying. And if you get hit with something like that, you better hope to the high dragons that you had your wards in place, because you would be in the healing halls being treated for some very bad injuries from those, because you'd be basically sent through the out of the Dragon Riders and into the Draconic Enclave space program, because for those of you who, if you've seen Skyrim gameplay of basically the Skyrim space program where you antagonize a giant, and it will just swing at you with your club and send you flying in a very high speed. That's the kind of force you're dealing with when you're on the receiving end of Bjorn's hammer. Or it's the kind of stuff that would make Tank Tolman go, "Hammer!" Or sorry if that was too loud for some people. But that's just an example of what you would of a rider who doesn't do much with magic, save for or building up a resistance to magic. So by and large, yeah, he's a berserker. And oh my god, I've seen him go. I've been with him on certain missions as a rider, and oh my god, seeing his strength. Like, he will literally jump off his dragon when you're pretty high up in the air. Like, a normal person would break both their legs on impact if they jumped off at the same height he would. But he would just literally leap off his dragon, and at that height, hammer like it full tilt, ready to swing down and strike, and he would literally just jump into a bunch of enemies. Even if they were shooting arrows and other things at him, he would tank them all as basically a half giant cannonball come crashing down on the target or targets, because he would usually do this in where there's a high concentration of enemy forces, and it would be like someone dropped in here on Earth, would be like someone dropped a bomb on that area. It would just obliterate targets in a from where he landed out in a pretty sizable radius. And he does not, and this is someone who has trained to not use magic and resist magic. This is all his sheer strength doing this. It is terrifying to watch. But seeing there have been times where the enemies like adjacent to ground zero of this technique are utterly obliterated upon impact. It's an amazing thing to behold, as it is terrifying. That has been a but then there are riders that do not forego combat altogether. Now, granted, this doesn't mean they are incapable of defending themselves. They are more than capable of doing that. But they are more focused on the more scholarly aspects of being a rider. And this doesn't even have to apply to magic in general. Well, this can also apply to the method of basically being more of a scholar, who basically studies, and the closest thing they use magic for is to comprehend other languages. They can. Basically, these scholars are in some expeditions are more those who you bring into ancient ruins in order to examine, study, and basically expand knowledge bases. This is usually those kinds of riders. They have just as much a place in the Enclave as warriors, because they commonly serve as librarians or researchers. There is more to being a rider than just being a warrior or being a magician. But it has seen in a lot of experiences in terms of there have been times those riders have dug up like long forgotten artifacts, collections of history, and so forth. I think a lot of those scholarly riders are trying to piece together this very particular event that took place like long before the earliest portions of recorded history. We don't have all the details as of yet, but there's something big on the horizon, and it is actually has its ties possibly to the vaults. But I'll get into what the vaults are in a moment. But the methods speaking of which, the vaults. I think I should explain what those are. The vaults are they are not to be confused with the vaults in Fallout, in the Fallout universe. So while I do contain things, there are like sparse records saying what is in the vaults in general. Oh, but it is a but it is very much under the understanding of a lot of magicians and scholars that what is contained within the vaults is basically technology, documents, tomes of knowledge, and so forth. That is what that was by the people who built them considered highly dangerous, and should be sealed away for the time being. There have been many scholars who have sought to find ways to access the vaults, just to see what is in them. But there hasn't been much leeway in that department. But that hasn't stopped certain mages from actually trying to access the vaults. However, but if more information comes to light, I'll be sure to talk about it here on the stream. There is also, in conjunction with research to the vaults, there is some scholarly circles that believe that it is widely agreed. It is a widely agreed upon narrative that the world we inhabit was that we, the Enclave, and other clans and throughout Trinacia exist in a world that was formed out of a cataclysm. And that cataclysm, there's a lot of mystery surrounding it. There is, however, are certain circles of study regarding the origins of this world that suggest that that the cataclysm wasn't of just one world. Astrologers and astronomers have observed through their telescopes what seem to be galaxies colliding, and the effects of galaxies colliding seem to be similar in some regards to how the cataclysm is described. So there is a theory out there that the universe of that Trinacia resides within is essentially the result of possibly two galaxies colliding, and we weren't created from a cataclysm. We merely are what was left. We merely picked up what was left over from a cataclysm of in a similar manner. Or some say it was our galaxy colliding with another galaxy, and we built up from there. Or if you want to get real outlandish, there's some scholars who believe that our universe collided with a completely different universe altogether and had a similar effect. There is at the moment the evidence is iffy, but compelling. And it is theorized that the civilization, there was a civilization. We don't know its name, but there are ruins to suggest this civilization was a thing that eventually built the vaults that now house what is believed to be technology and knowledge they felt was too dangerous for people all to possess us, and that and but it is believed that after the vaults were built, the civilization by and large vanished. There isn't much evidence of this civilization beyond the point where the vaults were built. So we don't know what happened to them, where they went, or whether they basically. There are a lot of theories. Like some suggest a mass suicide of the race on the more darker end, because there have been basically excavations that have found like mass graves containing people all who are dated from the time of whose death was roughly around the time the vaults were completed. But there haven't been enough of these mass graves, these mass suicide sites found to constitute an entire continental population. And so some believe that this is that the folks who committed suicide or killed each other during this time were only a small portion of the population, and it's still unknown where the rest went. But there are many theories as to this civilization. And who knows? Maybe the vault opening a vault will yield answers to what happened to them. But until then, we have little to no knowledge of that. There have been rumors of a vault having been breached, and scouts have been deployed to verify these rumors, but nothing's been heard back at this time. However, as much as I have talked about the culture and traditions of the Draconic Enclave, we are far from the only civilization on the continent of Trinacia. There is another group of people. There are other organizations and cultures on the continent of Trinacia other than the Enclave. There is one to the north, referred to as the Circle of Beastkin. And the Circle of Beastkin are very much, when it comes to the spiritual side of them, they are very much a shamanic culture. They don't have much in the way of magic, but most of what they would consider magic is mostly involved with shamanic and shamanic traditions, and they are very much a culture that works alongside animals and animal spirits. They are a very nature-oriented culture, and respecting nature and all it has to offer, and a lot of the folks of the Enclave are usually not unlike how we are bonded to dragons here in the Enclave. They are more bonded to straight up beasts. like they can be bonded. There have been folks in the Enclave bonded to bears. There's hold up. Need to handle some logistics here. Here we go. That are very much bonded to bears. There's wolves. A lot of other creatures too. And these folks, they get they learned a lot of their spiritual traditions from the great beasts. There are 4 spirit beasts that are said to have founded their clan. There is the wolf, the bear, the eagle, and the whale. All 2 beasts of the land and 2 of the sea. No, wait. 2 beasts of the land, 1 of the air, 1 of the sea. And these beasts basically taught the Enclave, taught the Circle all that they knew, and taught them how to bond with the beasts. And that has been the basis of their culture ever since. I have had time among the Circle. They are not the most friendly towards the Enclave, due to a certain tragedy that befell the Circle, where there was a devastating cold snap. That some folks of the Enclave of the Circle claim to have seen Enclave riders in the area suspiciously right before the cold snap happened, but it essentially drove a vast majority they're really, you want to hunt dragon riders, huh? They while they are not on, well, basically, let's just put it this way. All 4 of the clans, and they have techniques and methods of putting each other on an equal level to the other. So, take the Enclave, take the Circle of Beastkin, for example. They have developed methods of basically I don't know if how many of you here have seen the movie Dragonheart? Or anyone here? I know at least Raven has. Anyone else has seen it aside Raven? Because I know Raven has at least seen Dragonheart. But basically, you know that that device that Bowen had. I think that's how his name is pronounced. Who had that device in his on the back of his horse's saddle that he would throw into the air and it would just wrap around the back leg of a dragon and basically make it harder for him to fly further away. Did I describe that device properly? It's been a long time since I have seen the movie, so I don't quite remember all of it. But it's the Circle have developed that and as a method of making it harder for dragons to fly. And that has basically and that is just one method of basically basically fighting a rider, or basically that's the way that the Enclave that the Circle usually deals with Enclave riders. There's commonly a method of basically dragging the dragon and rider out of the air and basically forcing both the dragon and the rider to fight on the ground. Dragons are, while they can fight on the ground, it is a bit more challenging for a dragon to fight on the ground than it is in the air. So they basically take the as Obi-Wan Kenobi would call it, the high ground advantage away from a rider. Or that's how they do it. I was going before Bearded Axe asked that question. I was going to explain in the other methods that explain the other clans of Trinacia that have their own methods of fighting riders. There's the second clan is the Dino Legion. They are without a doubt the most, air quotes, technologically advanced and of the four clans of Trinacia. They are very much a clan that focuses on building on they are very much raw strength, military might, and firepower. They basically the first line of their defenses when it comes to people, unwanted folks in their territory, is usually with very big projectiles, be it trebuchets, catapults, ballistas, like the ballistas the Enclave employs. They are highly lethal to a dragon and rider. It is not it is surely a terrifying sight. You do not want to be on the receiving end, and those things can take a dragon out of the sky. When the dragon is like fully armored too, there is just we have a hard time developing armor or even techniques of shielding ourselves from those ballistas. The best way we can avoid them is surely by by maneuvering in between dragon and rider. Or it is, luckily, it hasn't come to that, because, but I'll get to that in a moment. And but if they do manage to strike down a dragon and rider, and the rider and dragon manage to survive, it takes a while for a dragon and rider to recover to a point where they can fly again, if they can at all. And usually when that happens, usually if they are unable to fly for a while, it's usually the Legion and their on their dinosaur mounts that will be the end of a dragon and rider, because if a rider and dragon cannot fly, their methods of dealing with the Enclave, with the Legion's dinosaur riders, they're heavily limited. It's not impossible to deal with them, it's just immensely hard. However, the third clan that makes up the four main clans of Trinacia is the Phoenix Empire. These folks, they are very much when it comes to their overt military might, they are very much you could find similarities to them amongst feudal Japan, and they are very much they are very much akin to like the samurai and so forth, but and they have a very similar military might, and their methods of fighting a rider and dragon is involved in. Are you okay, Noctis? I think Noctis is very much is getting a little loopy here. But the Phoenix Empire, usually their methods of fighting a rider, they have these very specialized bows and arrows that if they can hit either a dragon or a rider with one of those for a very because these arrows can pierce. There's some magical wards on both rider and dragon, and basically what these arrows are designed to do is basically negate the ability for a dragon and rider to use magic for a certain period of time, and which gives them enough of an opening to basically go in with other methods of fighting us, because as much as they negate the magic, it also mutes the bond between dragon and rider, so we cannot communicate or coordinate our counterattack, which makes us individually easier targets for samurai warriors, or or even worse, by the Empire's shinobi teams. And though I've seen shinobi teams in action, they are not to be messed with if you have your bond muted by their weaponry. It's just you don't want to be on the receiving end of that. However, those are those are the methods that that the four clans that the three other clans have for in terms of being able to counteract a dragon rider's ability to operate. That doesn't mean they've been used. It's usually like because as much as there are four clans, there is a fifth party that is not entirely a clan. It's more of a ruling government, and this was formed as a neutral party between the four clans, and to pretty much serve as a regulatory body because the four clans, there's a lot of one, rivalry, and two, animosity between the four clans, and this fifth body, which is referred to as the Regal Lions, which is based in the city of Lion's Rest, serves as a neutral party that keeps the other four clans in a kind of regulatory state that one prevents hostilities, and two serves as a mediator between the clans, and so that a peaceful resolution can be reached between the two or more parties. They are and as far as what they have for dealing with all four clans, they try to keep it officially. They try to keep it under wraps to the general public, but they technically turn a blind eye to the four clans basically gleaning some kind of hints as to what the Regal Lions have on hand to counter the four clans, so that while the four clans do have methods of counteracting each other, all four clans also have some knowledge of the Regal Lions' ability against each of them, so that one party, be it clans or the Regal Lions, do not have a distinct superiority advantage over each other. And one of the regulations that the Regal Lions instated to keep the clans in check is that they have to have inspections of any methods that the clans have developed over the to give themselves a certain advantage over the other clans, and that information should be a certain amount of that information should be known publicly, so that the other clans can have some knowledge of how to develop a counter strategy. It's like you could say these clans are, the four clans are in a regulated, for the most part, pissing contest. That is presided over by the Regal Lions. And the Regal Lions were as I said, they were formed as a regulatory body of the to basically keep the four clans in check, and they were basically formed by a group of folks who had no affiliation with the other four clans, and because at the time the Regal Lions were formed, there was like a constant state of war between the four clans, and the Regal Lions were formed by those not affiliated with the clans, because they were just sick and tired of getting caught in the crossfire between the four clans, and basically a treaty was signed that basically brought all four clans with representative bodies into one centralized place, is to basically, one, air grievances with each other, and two, basically come together as one force that would monitor each other. It's more in the vein of the United Nations in Earth society today. So basically, all clans keep an eye on each other, and any grievances are basically aired at Lion's Rest, the central force, the central capital of the Regal Lions. And the Regal Lions usually are also expected to allow themselves to be monitored by the other four clans. So basically, everyone keeps an eye on each other, and they basically and it's to prevent the devastation of the War of the Four Clans, or something of that nature to happen again. And it was basically a four-way war, those clans, and it was a very bloody and destructive conflict. You can find across Trinacia elements of the war being of leftovers from the war across Trinacia. It is, according to history, not something that should happen again. Doubly so with the war and magic techniques that have been developed since the war ended. But that has been. But I hope that answers your question, Bearded Axe, about if there is a group or groups that hunt dragon riders. Does that answer your question? All the other three clans, and plus the Regal Lions, do have the means to hunt dragons, but with the checks and balances of the Regal Lions that are in place, there isn't much of a need to, but it's still taught to the other clans. And the method, but yes, however, but I have been to Lion's Rest. the seat of the Regal Lions. It is truly a majestic sight to behold. It has it's very much the New York City of Trinacia. It's like this melting pot of the four clans and those unaffiliated with the four clans, and in one place, and it is just it's very much something every member of the four clans should experience at least once in their lives. Eves, but before I carry on, I should refill my drink, and I shall be right back. And I am back now that I have recovered. I have poured myself a new drink, and now I think I should carry on my descriptions of basically as I have described earlier in terms of the cataclysm, and one of the theories regarding this universe's formation was that two universes collided, causing the cataclysm that our world came forth from. The evidence to support this is that it is confirmed that there are universes beyond ours. And there are methods of traveling between in other universes, and that's how I, Radnor Sarkany, ended up working with a YouTuber here on Earth. It has been a very long and arduous process of developing the technique of inter-universal flight. It's basically a method of creating this kind of veil between that separates the rider and dragon, and from basically the adverse energies and so forth that you got to endure while traveling between universes. But the technique has been perfected over time, and that has led to I, as a rider, serving as basically a liaison between in Fred, Fred's dimension / Fred's other dimension, and the Draconic Enclave. My job here is basically, I am for the most part here to find those who can have the potential to be riders in of themselves, and to adapt the equipment and resources is found here on Earth, in order to develop a different breed of riders here on Earth. Because as much as we have developed techniques to be dragon riders ourselves, we are by no means have a monopoly on the possibility of becoming riders. There's but an expansion on that to explain if when I said that folks outside the Enclave can become riders, it is immensely hard for for someone of the other clans or the Regal Lions to become a rider, because it is very much it is pretty much it's more of a cultural thing, because if you grew up and trained in the ideals, teachings, and philosophies of one of the four of the other clans outside the Enclave, it is immensely hard for that level of teaching, well, to translate over to being a rider. Like it's rare that such a thing can happen, but it's not as common as one may think. It's though it is if someone among the other three clans / the Regal Lions were to become a rider, it is very much likely that it would be someone born under the Regal Lions and could have the feasibility to become a rider, because they are not affiliated with any particular clan philosophy or teachings. It is very much a method of it is so I'll be honest, I wasn't essentially born under the Regal Lions. I was born with no affiliation, and because I had no affiliation, and I was very much I was basically, due to my aptitude for magic, was sent by my family to the Royal Academy of Magic in Lion's Rest. However, my rebellious nature compelled the faculty to basically ask me to leave, and I took to travel after that. And one thing led to another, and I'm a student. I'm now of the Draconic Enclave. However, as I said, that I am very much developing here on Earth to aid others in did some weird things here, to aid them in the process of becoming riders. That doesn't mean I am the only one. There are folks of the Circle of Beastkin, the Dino Legion, and the Phoenix Empire also here on Earth. Teaching humans, that people here on Earth, their ways as well. So it's less about superiority and more about balance of power. And I've been basically helping Fred here develop his own ability as a rider. We're still working on getting him an egg that could feasibly hatch into a dragon, but we are working on that, and we're working on developing his own unique set of equipment, because as much as the rider's gear I have is effective for me, I think there are resources here on Earth that people from this universe can take advantage of in the process of being a rider. We will probably see a video on Fred's YouTube channel, all talking about modern dragon riders and what gear they could carry and how they would operate, because it may be very different from the Enclave. We're still developing the techniques and methods for folks here on Earth to become riders. But if anyone's interested, I could give some kind of description as to how that would look, or what progress we could make. Is anybody interested in that sort of tale? I'll sound off in the chat if it's something that you feel could be more talked about. We're as much as my dragon here, we're thinking that Fred would be more as I'm paired with Noctis here. We are seeing if Fred would be more. We're still trying to figure out what kind of dragon Fred would be more attuned to, or have a bit more of an aptitude with to bonding with, dragons. What dragons eat? They are for the most part omnivorous. While they. How expensive is having a dragon? Well, it depends on the dragon. I mean, it does help if you live in an environment that said dragon can be more adapted to. But basically a dragon can, for the most part, feed itself. So a dragon, so you don't have to spend that much money on feed. Though buying dragon feed is something that can be beneficial. the most challenging part of finding a place for something for the most challenging part of taking care of a dragon is a lair. It is commonly dragons under normal circumstances would if the dragon is to have like a natural lair to live in, it's usually common for a dragon to in enclave territory there are like separate homes for dragons to basically live and live at rest and so forth. However, dragons, the magical creatures they are, can adapt their size to their living environment so that they can basically live in the environment that the rider is as well. So, for example, behind the bookshelf over here, there is a space atop atop of some storage totes that has been converted into a little nest for Noctis here, which by and large serves as essentially basically when he's in this smaller form, he can live more comfortably. While they are omnivores in terms of physical food, they don't need physical food in order to live. They can live off of absorbing the energy, like feed off the energy in their environment alone. This energy can be anything. Natural energy, which they can replenish in the environment through other means. Basically defecation, which by defecation it's not like they actually take a shite, right? It's more they eject old energy to allow new energy to come in, and then old energy can be rejuvenated and the cycle continues. But when dragons eat physical food, it's usually for enjoyment, and like it's things that they like eating. It can provide the same experience it can provide the same nutrition as absorbing energy, but it's just they can do it either way. But the most expensive part of having a dragon is very much building their hoard. Dragons do love their treasure, and this can range from like shiny rocks that you can procure at like a crystal shop, jewelry, gold, silver. They like shinies. If you can, that is the most expensive part of procuring a dragon. They usually like having like a pile of shiny things in or nearby their nest. It's their little hoard, so to speak. And it is dragons have been rather coy as to why they like these things. There have been hints to suggest it's like a security blanket for them. Yes, dragons, like certain humans and other beings, tend to have security blankets of some kind. Right? But yes, building a dragon's hoard is pretty much the most expensive and the most challenging part of having a dragon. And because food and shelter, like the shelter, I have the nest built atop that storage for him. However, in the process of and as for food, they can either feed off the energy in the environment, or they can feed off. They can either hunt, or you can like a store-bought steak, cooked or uncooked, will work fine. Noctis here has taken to enjoying the food from a local butcher up north of this town, that produces some very good cuts of meat. Little pricey, but worth it because he really enjoys them. But I hope that answers your questions, Bearded Axe. Involving what dragons eat, and how expensive it is. So one thing that I highly recommend getting if you're going to keep a dragon is get one of those Himalayan salt lamps and at least have it in the room while that the dragon's nest is in. And it doesn't have to be close to the nest, just in the same room as the nest. That's because that can increase the ambient energy vibrations that dragons can feed on. That is something I highly recommend. I do have one in the room. I just need to find a better permanent home for it. But it is in the room so it increases the energy vibes. I thought I explained that. Okay. I don't know about the dragon your friend is asking about, your friend in question is raising, but the dragons from the world I reside in, or I hail from, they don't defecate in the same way normal creatures do. The food that when they eat physical food, it is broken down into the similar energy that old energy that they fed on from the ambience in the environment, and it either way it's converted into the same kind of energy, and it is usually that kind of energy, that old energy, is what is exuded out using basically it's what they use as fuel for breathing fire, or they can use it as a buoyancy aid to help them fly, if that answers your question. So the worst, basically, basically when it comes, so basically breathing fire is in terms of Noctis and dragons like him is a method of basically taking a shit. So so it is always good to have some kind of target or that is I cannot begin to I cannot begin to say. You might want to talk to some kind of creature agency that can examine that sort of thing. I don't know if I am no expert on like that sort of thing, but I'll ask around some of my friends in the Enclave, see if they can have someone come to take a look at it and find some and help you and your friend figure out what the hell's going on. But pun intended, holy crap. But as I was saying, when it comes to like Noctis, when he has to do the dragon equivalent of what dogs have to do, which is go outside, we usually go outside. He goes into flight mode, and we have a spot that is basically an abandoned gravel pit that I wove some spells into that creates this. Basically, it's a bit of a mock shack that is or a mock small building that is used for that is built to Maine's building codes, and we basically we'll just fly out to that zone like once in the morning and just send as many jets of fire as needed to get the excess energy out, but still have enough to fly back, because while sending fire blasts does take up a lot of energy, it doesn't take a lot to keep a dragon aloft in the air. But once we've just destroyed that building enough times with fire in the middle of the gravel pit until Noctis is satisfied, we'll just swoop in. We'll just fly back and do the same thing in the same thing after sunset. Basically, why we do it this way is because it can also train it also serves as a training exercise for Noctis and I to work on basically to train ourselves for like airstrike missions. It's where we have to fly in at a specific speed, hit a target with X amount of blasts of fire until it goes down, and fly off. But we do it in the morning to help with training for daytime missions. and after sunset, it helps prep for nighttime missions. Both of which are things I've had to deal with as a rider. That serves as but that has been a reasonable method of training, and but I cannot begin to think of what actually shat on your friend's pillow. Who or what, I might add. Just let me see. Something kind of coming back to the description of the other three clans. Well, more specifically, the four clans in general. Each clan has basically basically when they build, they have their own ruling structure and social structures, but when it comes to the representatives at Lion's Rest, it usually serves at each clan sends an entourage of 3 each. One is the actual representative. The second is basically the diplomat, and the third is referred to as the praetor, and each one has their own duties duties, jobs, and responsibilities while in Lion's Rest, and they serve a period of 1 season each, and sometimes we cycle between folks who wish to who serve each role. I personally prefer to serve the role as praetor, but these are what each position in a clan's entourage serves. The representative, if their job is to represent the interests and well-being of their respective clan, and first and foremost, and air any grievances or requests of the said clan to the other clans or Lion's Rest. Lion's Rest has their own entourage, but and then there is the diplomat. The diplomat's job is to hear out the grievances of another clan's entourage, and try to find the most mutually beneficial solution for both clans and Raven and Lion's Rest. It is not always doable, but it happened. But it's not uncommon for it to happen. And the third person in the entourage is the praetor. The praetor is, first off, it's the head of security for the head of the security detail, for the clan they represent, section of or district in Lion's Rest. Each clan has their own respective district that they can find lodging and help in. And it's a lot like an embassy that is, think of it like a section of the city that serves as an embassy for the clan. And then it is the praetor's job to ensure that the people in the enclave under their district under their jurisdiction are kept safe. And if anyone from another clan or another party, it causes trouble in the section under their jurisdiction, and they're the one. There we go. But under more common circumstances, it doesn't usually ideally lead to violence between clans and the praetors. It's usually the praetor will bring this issue up with another clan or Lion's Rest's or respective praetor, and usually their praetor will deal with it. However, violence between an offending party and another clan's praetor is not unheard of. It's rare, but you should always be prepared in those circumstances. I have never served as praetor myself. I don't find I have the mental restraint that is required for the job, but I have served on the Enclave's praetor security detail. It is a much easier job and usually involves a lot usually involves a lot of just easy patrols, and at times it can be like for younger riders, it is widely considered a very boring assignment, but after all the hectic chaos and so forth that can usually come with being a rider or outside of being security detail, you tend to see it as a bit more of a mellow and easier job compared to what you usually do as a rider. Now, I gotta say, as when it comes to being a rider, there's descriptions of there's things for riders to do in times of peace, is as well as in times of war. In times of peace, the missions of a rider usually involve the passing crucial information from places within Enclave territory or to other territories. He's commonly between in Enclave territory and Lion's Rest, or to the capitals of the other clans in its territory, and in those cases, they are usually the other clans tend to give riders under those circumstances a pass that allows them to enter another clan's territory to handle the reason they're there, and then once they've handled that, they're usually escorted to the borders of their territory, where their clearance to enter their territory is where we surrender our permission slip, basically our passport, so to speak, to the clan officials, and we go off on our merry way, normally back to our own territory. But it's commonly a but outside of those kinds of missions and so forth, there are times when a clan is when basically when there's nothing much to do in terms of official business, you are, as a rider, pretty much free to explore and adventure within clan territory or non-affiliated territory without much problem. It is but when war is brewing, it's usually you're basically required to if the cry for war has sounded, it is you are basically required to head to the nearest muster point and report yourself present and or accounted for. Basically, this is usually an issue that tends to involve fights between the Enclave and organizations not recognized by Lion's Rest. You see, there are the 4 clans, and then there are other organizations outside the clans that are that either are recognized by by Lion's Rest. This is commonly like adventurers guilds, trade guilds, and the like, which have been chartered by Lion's Rest in order to exist. However, there are organizations of less scrupulous methods that do exist, that are not recognized by Lion's Rest, and those tend to be the ones that the clans have the most fights with. or at worst, bands of marauding monsters, which are still a thing. Though they, and it's usually when the cry for war has sounded, it's usually the cry for war is the highest level of mustering that is needed. That is a common thing. But the basically how but basically the other lower level calls usually are regional things that if there are riders in a particular area, you're usually called to muster in that area to handle jobs. Outside of clan territory, it is pretty much outside of a particular clan's territory. Anyone can answer the call to muster, and basically you tend to have groups that are called to muster that consist of like samurai of the Phoenix samurai / ninja of the Phoenix Empire. You can have riders fighting alongside soldiers of the Dino Legion. Just it's not necessarily it's less of an organized army between between each of the clans, and more like a clan oriented militia. I know that word is problematic for here in America, but it's the best word I can use to describe. However, these militias are much more regulated. Basically, if a militia group of one particular clan goes rogue, oh god, it's usually the other riders notified by that are called to gather. Basically, you go rogue as part of one of these groups. You're going to basically have a bounty on you placed by either your clan, or if it's multiple clans involved in this, you're going to have basically Lion's Rest putting a bounty on you. So unlike other enclaves, basically, unlike here in America, there is more regulation put on these militias that are gathered. So there is a chain that basically puts some kind of super big oversight over these groups. But we are actually coming to the end of our usual allotted time here on the stream. We did start a little bit late because we had things we had to prepare and get working. But I hope you enjoyed this peek into the life and work of a dragon rider, and the world that my kind of dragon riders hail from. If you are a returning viewer, thanks for stopping by. And if you are new around here, please consider dropping a follow, and checking out the link tree for on Fred's Dimension that you can find on the stream page, to find Fred's YouTube channel, where there's more content. And on the way, we just dropped a new video fairly recently. And there's more in the pipeline. And you can follow Fred on social media. And if you think we've earned it, consider checking out the Patreon page as well. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the trail of adventure.